just want to make that clear to everybody. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and click record, and I've got some awesome stuff to give to you. This week we're doing a training. Next week is going to be actually Christina leading our team call, because she's going to be doing some, power hours with you guys. Okay. So you'll get to do another Zoom call like you did last week with Haley, but you're going to do it with a different leader. So you're going to get to learn different things. And there's a couple things that I'm going to mention to her to throw out there, because I know she's really good at it. And she could give her best tips too, from her perspective. So I got 4 different things I want to talk to you guys about before we even get into what I'm going to share with you guys tonight. What I'm going to share with you, it's just tips. So it's going to be kind of showing you a couple of different systems that I have, and you can take them, you can use them, you can trial and error it, you could use them, throw them out. It's totally up to you. But I'm going to show you guys what actually has worked for me for the last 5 years, and why I enroll loyal customers and distributors and get at least 4-in-1 at least once every single month. Okay. And most of the time it's multiple times throughout the month, but I have had those months where, we only get 4-in-1. So first things first, conference tickets are about to be announced on the 1st of September. So you want to start thinking about that. And it's very, very important, because they are limited. Okay. I am absolutely going to be there. I will, hands down, there is no question about it. I don't know how I'm going to do it right now, but I am going to do it. And I know that for a fact, because I've done it like that every single year since I started this business. Okay. Most of the time I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know at first, where we were going to stay. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. I didn't know any of those things, but I knew that there was no ifs, ands, or buts, and my butt was going to be sitting there at conference, because I knew that my business was going to explode by me being there. So I've been in the works talking with, a couple of other leaders from our commitment group, and they've been talking about shared housing if we want to do something like that. But I need to know who's going from our team. So if you could private message me and tell me, hey girl, I don't know how I'm going to do it either, but I'm all in with you. Let's do this. Let's go to conference. It's going to be in Florida, and it's going to be in, I believe, the end of January, like it usually is. So I am hands down going to be there. And the only reason why it's such a big deal, and I know that it's a big deal, I know, because everybody that goes to conference promotes, we all promote at the same exact time, right afterwards, because the fire is there, right? And what I mean by that is when you get around other people who their business is lit and they are like, boom, 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 so excited, that excitement actually transfers to you. It spreads like wildfire. So Mark Pentecost always says to us, if you want to let your business explode, you got to get around the fire. And that is the best way that I know how to, is to get around other people that are like-minded, that are excited about their business, that are going up. There's so many ambassadors there. There's triple diamonds. We have access to a huge team right now that is an ambassador team, and we get to be close with them this year, which is really exciting to me, because I cannot wait to get around people who are even further than I am, so that I can just work my butt off to get to where they are, and I can kind of pick their brains and figure out how they're doing stuff, and if there's anything different, or, just get that fire from them. They're excited because they're there, and they were excited going there, and I just need that. And I know that everybody on this team needs it too. So please message me ASAP so we can figure out how we can get you to conference, even if it's, tips on how to save money in order to make it happen, or how to get the best prices on hotel rooms, or how we're going to stay down in Florida all together and stuff like that, even flights and things like that. We can work together to figure those things out to make sure that you make it there so that your business explodes. And I know that a lot of people are going through a lot of different things, but I'm telling you right now, this business can change everything for you. And the only way you're going to really, really explode it at the beginning of the year, I'm telling you, you got to get your butt to conference. You have to make it to conference. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay. And you can also buy your ticket. It's going to be announced on September 1st. There are limited tickets, so you have to get them as soon as you possibly can. My recommendation, if you're struggling to come up with the money, use something like the Klarna app in order to pay for your ticket. so that you can make payments on it instead. If they do offer payments, absolutely pay by commission. There's no question about it. Why? We should absolutely all be able to do that. Okay. So those are my recommendations. So get with me. Let's go in the chat. Let's blow the chat up. If you're ready to go to conference, I'm super excited. Number 2, the second thing I want to talk to you guys about is the Zoom calls. These are going on every single week. Okay. We are not skipping them. We are not putting them to the side. If you are a hustler and you want to go up in your business, you have to be willing to show up on them. I'm telling you, it's going to change everything when you get around that fire. And I understand some of you are working during the day. That's totally fine. That's something that you don't have to get onto if you're working. Okay. That's like the only reason why I would ever say that I couldn't get on was because I was working my full-time job, which you're at that point, you're underneath someone else's thumb. So you kind of have to do what they're saying. Right. So Monday through Friday, power hours, they're at 7 a.m., but we've been talking between the 3 of us recently, and I believe we're going to change it on the 1st. I think it's going to be 10 a.m., but it might be a little bit later in the morning, depending on what everybody's, thinking. So that will be an update that will come to you probably either next week, or it will be in the group chat. So you will see those. Those are every single morning at 7 a.m. And like I said, the 1st, they're going to be subject to change. Okay. Now the Monday night calls and the Wednesday night calls are continuing. And there is, I believe, 4 more weeks of the Monday night calls. And then the Wednesday night calls have been going on for like the last 5 years since I started this business. And I probably will never change those. Those are, something that I've done ever since I've started. And that's this call that we're on right now. And I love these calls because not only does it get us together, it gives us a good refresh for the week. It gets us around other like-minded people. And it also helps you learn certain systems that you might not have known before. And I feel like when I first started, every single Zoom call that I got onto, I learned something new every single time. Okay. And the last one I wanted to talk to you about with the Zoom calls was that, every single Thursday night, there's a Zoom call that Stacey Lynn does for our entire team. And she is one of our leaders. So she gets people like ambassadors on there that just, you get to pick their brain for a night. You get to listen to everything. And those are usually announced in the commitment, runners, the August commitment runners group that she's got. If you're not in that group, please private message me right now and I will get you in it as soon as I get off this Zoom. And I can also get you into her team page if you're not in it right now. Okay. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you're on my team, you can get in that also. So just let me know. So number 3, Courtney messaged me. Okay. Number 3, personal development, guys. I cannot stress enough how important this is. And when I first came into this business, I didn't think anything of it. Like, I'm dead serious. People ask me all the time, are you reading anything? Are you listening to anything every single morning? And I would say no, no, I don't have time for that. I would consistently make excuses on why I wasn't doing it. And I'm telling you right now, I put that on the back burner and my paycheck put me on the back burner. And so I didn't actually start getting paid until I was like 5 and 6 months into this business because I did not grow my mindset the way that I should have. We have the books available. Every single person has these books available. And there's actually a new YouTube album or whatever you want to call it that's on my YouTube channel that I put in the chat that you can just go down through all of them. I know I sent them to Jamie because she's already finished the first book and the second book. So I kind of created this playlist just so that she could just go through all of them. And we should be doing that for all of our new girls. Anybody who finishes their first book and their second book, get them going through the rest of the books. You have that for yourself. And that brings me to number 4. Okay. I know Haley and I were talking for a little bit about the newbies launch and how the newbies launch is great and the 5 to Thrive is great, the way that we've been teaching our new distributors, but I think that it needs more. And I think that we need something that helps the person on the back end know where things are and know how to word things to their downline distributor. So, long story short, I am actually creating a newbies launch as we speak. I just put the board together the other day and I just started adding to it. And so that is going to come out very, very soon. I would say the beginning of September, you're going to see that roll out, and there's going to be a training on it. So I can show you exactly how you're going to train your new distributors to give you some good confidence on using it, and also help show you kind of where everything is and how you're going to word things and how you're going to train somebody that's brand new. Okay. This is going to help you a lot. And of course, we want to build the relationship on the back end side too. So getting your new distributors on video calls, getting them on calls to work with you is always going to be a must. We should always be doing that. We should always be helping them. We should always be sending them voice message and talking to them and getting to know them and getting to know who they are. And if they're local, go out to lunch with them, right? Like the best way to bond is to, eat together, to have a meal together. And so I think that's really, really great for if you do have a local team or you have some people who are local. Ask them, hey, do you want to go get some coffee, or do you want to go get some lunch? Do you want to go get some dinner together, breakfast, or whatever? That way you can really connect, and those friendships last forever. Right. So, it's so important. So that's what I've got for announcements for you guys. I'm really, really excited about this newbies launch, board that I've got going for you guys. Like, it is already turning out to be freaking awesome. So we're going to continue to put that together, and we should be rolling it out at the beginning of this next month. Okay. So just keep an eye out for that. So long story short, I'm going to talk to you about two different things tonight. And there are two things that I get fired up about and I'm really excited about. And the reason why I'm really excited about it is because I did not have this when I first started this business. I actually struggled with these two things really bad. And it's what held me back from getting bigger paychecks for almost 2 years coming into this business. Okay. I was getting smaller paychecks that were coming in, but they were not exactly what I needed. And they were not the residual income that I needed. And so these two things are going to help you boost your business so much. And I'm going to give you 5 different things around it. Okay. So the first one I want to talk to you guys about is organization. And it's the 5 things that you need to organize in your business. Okay. What's up, baby? Daddy's in the bedroom. Yep, that one. That's where he is. Go get him. Yep, go get him. Okay, so the first thing that we want to organize in our business is our to-do list, okay? And this is something that I did not have when I first started this business. Honestly, I was a freaking mess when I first started this business. I was all here, there, and everywhere. I did not know what time management looked like. I did not know what it looked like to run a business and have my kids. It was either all in on my business or all in on my, with my kids. And there was no happy medium whatsoever. Thankfully, after a little while, it was trial and error, and I started kind of learning. And then every single 6 months, I would say, I have to change things around and change my schedule around. So a to-do list absolutely helps because you have this checklist that's right in front of you. So there's several different ways that you can create a checklist for yourself. Okay. Like, for example, when I get like my office, I'm going to try the printout and I'm going to try to laminate it and have my to-do list in front of me that way. However, I am a mobile person. If you guys didn't notice, I am literally here, there, and everywhere throughout the day. It's a little bit different when Bailey's in school. However, it's still, all over the place. And so I like to take mine mobile. And so I know a lot of you work full-time jobs, and I know that a lot of you are here, there, and everywhere with your kids too. And so I want to show you how my to-do list work on my phone. And I'm going to show you how to create one. If you have an Android, it's very similar, and you might have to download a Notes app. Okay. But I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that I can show you, how I create my schedule and what I do around it. Okay. So usually what I do is, and I'm going to open up my notes actually. And I'm going to go to my front. So I have all of my stuff pinned, but I'm going to open up a new one and show you how to create one. So let me move this over. If you go down to the bottom right-hand corner in your notes, okay. So I clicked on this notes on my phone. If you have an iPhone, you can download the same exact app. And if you have an Android, there is an app that's called Notes. So you can go download it. Now on an iPhone, you're going to click the little box that's down in the right-hand corner. And usually what I like to do is I label it to-do list. Okay. So I will label it to-do list. Now, the thing about to-do list is making sure that you're not overwhelming yourself. One, you want to make sure that you don't put anything on your list that is going to take up your entire day. One. Two, you want to set goals for yourself that are achievable, yet you have to stretch for them. Okay. So every single day I'm putting certain things on there that will definitely help my business and that will move my business forward, which is called IPAs. Okay. Income producing activities. You want to make sure that you have this on your work to-do list. Now, for me, for example, because I work from home and I am all over the place all the time with my kids, and I also have things that I need to get done with my own life. Like we're building an addition on our house and I have a flower garden that I take care of. And then I have my kids' appointments and I have my kids' stuff and I have certain things that I like to do. Like I love to do DIY decorations and stuff like that. That's just my thing. It's one of my favorite things to do. And so I've got certain things that I want to do for the addition every single day. And then I've got certain things that I want to do for myself. And then I have certain things that I want to do for my business, my mindset, and so on and so forth. And so I always recommend choosing 6 things every single day that you will do for your business. Okay. And so we call this a 6 list, and it should always start with personal development. Okay. That should be the first thing that you do for yourself every single morning when you wake up. And if you're able to squeeze it in at night before you go to bed, highly, highly recommended, because how you end your night is how you will start your day the next day. And so you want to make sure that you bring yourself to a full circle every single day. So what I like to do is in the morning, I actually listen to podcasts and I read for 10 minutes. And at night, I like to either watch I'm really into these videos that are all it's the Personal Development School. It's right on YouTube. You can look it up. And it's a woman, I can't remember what her name is to save my life, but I've been watching her every single night before I go to bed. And I've been learning things, not only about business, but I've been learning things about like my childhood and how to overcome things that happen. And I've been learning things about parenting, and I've been learning things about, just how to manage my time and how to just become a better friend and all the things. And because I'm listening to those at night, it's actually starting my day off a lot better because my mood is carried on from my night to my morning. So it's really great how that works. So I would always put personal development at the top of your list, because if you're not growing your mindset, your income probably isn't growing either, because if you've never heard this, your income will never surpass your mindset. So it's very important that you start with your mindset, and that's your maturity. And that will be also to help you learn how to get rid of your excuses and throw them out the windows and things like that. So always start with that. My second thing that I usually do that I have on my to-do list is my birthdays and mutual friends. That's what I always have usually as my to-do list, so that I know that if I get this done every single day, that's moving me forward. 1, birthdays is creating relationships. 2, mutual friends is actually asking people a question about my business. And it's usually about Host to Post. However, if I've already asked them about Host to Post this month, I'm going to ask them about product, or I'm going to ask them about the business. So I'm going to alternate those messages when I'm doing my mutual friends. Now, the next one is usually growing my network. So I always put add 50 new friends. So this can usually be on Facebook or on Instagram. Sometimes I even put 100 if I know that it's a slack day where Bailey's at school all day long and Bo is going somewhere with Matt, and I know I'm going to be home by myself. Of course, I'm going to up that number, right? I'm not going to waste my time binge watching Netflix. I'm not going to waste my own time doing nothing but laying around. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm going to focus on what's most important. So I'm going to up the game. Okay. So then my next one is usually going to be messaging And I'll set myself a goal here. So I'll tell myself that I need to send out a certain amount of messages. So like I need to send out 500 messages that day, which is totally doable, especially if you're doing 10-minute messaging sprees like we teach on our team. Because every single messaging spree, you should get like 70 to 100 messages, no matter who you are. If you're using the Boards app, it makes it 10 times better, and it's easier and it's quicker. And this is literally doing 5 messaging sprees every single day. And so that's 10 minutes in the morning when you first wake up after you do your personal development. That's 10 minutes when you go to the bathroom in the morning. That's 10 minutes on your lunch break. That's 10 minutes when you get out of work. And that's 10 minutes before you go to bed. That's how simple it can be laid out for yourself. So I usually do this, and I'll put that. And then my other one is follow up with 1 week, or I'll put follow up with 2 weeks of potentials. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm actually going back through my book that I showed you guys on the newbie Zoom call. I'm going back in my book, and I am going back every single day. I'm going back 1 to 2 weeks, and I'm following up with 1 to 2 weeks earlier than I did before. I have a sticky note in this book, and it makes it easy because I just leave the sticky note wherever I left off. And then the next day I can pick right back up where I left off and do my follow-ups. And I go follow up with every single person from that week before. So that's another great thing that you can do. And then usually I do upload 3 TikToks, because when you upload your 3 TikToks every single day, you're showing people your personality, you're talking about business or product, and then you're inviting them onto your page in some way, shape, or form. And those are my biggest things that I do for my business every single day. I don't skip a beat on it. I make sure that I show up for it. And a lot of the times, like one of the things that's on my to-do list is follow up with newbies and leaders. Okay. So I do this a lot. My new distributors and my girls who have been with me for a while that are working, I will put them on my list also. So I will make sure that I send them a message, even if it's just asking them how their day is going. For my leaders, at least I'm getting in and talking to them and knowing what's going on in their life and knowing how I can help them and how I can serve them and all the things. And then with my new distributors, I always want to make sure that I have a checklist that I'm going by where I'm actually teaching them, which is going to come out in the actual training that you're going to see, or not the training, the boards that you're going to see for your new distributors, which is going to help you a lot. So that's how I do my to-do list for that. Now, if I have something for home, I have a home to-do list. Okay. My home to-do list is done completely around all of this. Okay. So I choose certain hours during the day where I'm going to tackle that work to-do list. Most of the time I do an hour in the morning, right when I wake up. I get done this, I get done this, I get done this, and I get done half of that one, the messaging one. And then usually I get done this before my kids even wake up. And then I get done 1 TikTok, and I get done this bright and early in the morning. So do you see how I literally knock out almost all of my work list early in the morning? That's how simple it is. And then halfway through the day, I'm doing another messaging spree again. But right before dinner, I'm doing another one. And then at night, I'm doing another one. And at the end of the night, I can cross off both of these because I'm just weaning them in and out of my home to-do list. My home to-do list has things on it. And usually I give myself just a few things to do. Like, for example, tomorrow, I really want to make sure that I get my grocery list done. Tomorrow we want to sand my office, and tomorrow I think of random stuff like, play outside with the kids. Okay. So maybe I'll make it a priority to make sure that I get these 3 things done. Right. So I'm not overwhelming myself with things that I have to do all over the place every single day, but I'm giving myself 3 things that I want to do for my home or for the kids or for the family. And I make sure that I get those things taken care of every single day. If it's not on the list, it's probably not going to get done. And if it is on the list, then chances are I will literally die before I let it slip. Right. So that's how you make your to-do list every single day. That's a great way to do it. And you can also do it on a paper. Highly recommend that if you don't want to do it on your phone because you won't look at it that often. What I would say is, instead of saying, oh, well, I'll put it on my phone, get yourself a piece of paper, write your to-do list out, your like work to-do list, laminate it, and your home to-do list you can write in every single day, right? And you can leave it somewhere where every single time that you work, you can see that list printed out. Okay. So that's the first one. Your second one, having a notebook specifically for your notes for these Zooms. Okay, guys, like I have a notebook. Every single Zoom that I hop on, I make sure that I write all the notes in this notebook. If you're not taking notes, you're not retaining it. So it is so important that you've got these written down, because at some point in your business, you are going to need these, whether it's for yourself, whether it's teaching somebody else, whether it's doing a big training like this for your team, you are going to need those notes at some point. So it's very, very important that you always show up and you always make sure that you have a notebook in front of you to write down some notes and take down some notes that make sense to you. Number 3 is your potentials. You always want to make sure that you have your calendar at night when you're responding to people. So if you are, if you're busy like me and you're literally here, there, and everywhere, having a notebook like this can be a game changer for you. And all it takes is doing your messaging sprees throughout your day, then scheduling yourself after dinner at night or later at night, you know, when things kind of calm down, your kids go to bed, take your notebook, write down every single person. And this is what I would do. I would write down every single person that I talked to that day. I would literally clear my inbox. So if you ever see in the chat, check mark cleared my inbox, this is what I'm doing. I'm writing everybody's name down that I just talked to, that I just responded to from today. Some of these people I messaged at 7 a.m. this morning, but I didn't get the chance to write back to them until later at night. If they are interested, they will wait. I promise you, they will wait for you to respond to them. So it's important to know that if you ever feel that anxiety about getting back to people, it has nothing to do with them. It has to do with what's going on up here. It has to do with your own feelings, your own worries, your own insecurities that are coming out and making you worry about this whole step. Okay. So, or this whole thing with getting back to people. And I know that because when I first started, I had that anxiety really, really bad. And when I started the system of doing my messaging sprees throughout the day and then actually responding to people after dinner every night, it was a game changer for me. And it actually helped me tremendously. Now, let's just say I have a day where there's really nothing going on. It's raining outside. My kids are preoccupying themselves. And I am just sitting out in the living room while Matt watches, you know, his Survivor shows and stuff like that. You know, cause he watches all the crazy shows like Bear Grylls and, you know, everything, just in case we had to survive for like a month out in the wilderness or the Sahara Desert or something, you know. But anyways, he'll be watching those shows and I will sit on the couch and I will organize all my people and I will respond to all of my messages. There is some days where I will go all in with follow-ups, like Fridays. Fridays are my days where everybody knows, not only my kids, not only Matt, not only my in-laws and my mom and everybody else, but everybody knows, do not disturb Chelsea on Fridays, because I am going to go all in on my business doing follow-ups so I can get these orders in and make it happen. Okay. So Fridays are the follow-up Friday for a reason. A lot of people are getting paid. So I'm consistently going through this and making it happen. And I do take breaks throughout the day. I'll take like an hour break and take my kids outside. So don't think that I'm like on 24/7, like literally killing myself, but I do message a lot more and I do follow up a lot more. And then I make my kids a priority for that hour, make dinner, and then go on with work right afterwards. So just to give you kind of an insight of what's going on. So number 4, current loyal customers. Okay. Having something set up for yourself where you have current loyal customers written down. What I like to do is at the back of my book. Okay. Not at the back of my book. Sorry. At the back of my month. This is for October. So I'm going to show you projected. Whoops, sugar. At the back of my book, I have a spot where I have, it's all blank. Okay. It's supposed to be written like important dates and tasks. I ignore all of that. Instead, I just write down all my current loyal customers, the dates that they signed that month, what they ordered. And then I have the follow-up checks next to it. And so I want to show you my screen because I want to show you the follow-up board that we have. So I'm going to go ahead and click screen, stop screen, or start screen recording. And if you go into your boards app, okay, I'm going to go into the team chat just so you guys can see it. If you go into the team chat or any of your messages, okay, and you scroll down in your boards until you see the little sunflower on the left-hand side, you guys see that? There's a board called customer retention. So what I like to do is I personally like to go to this. Every single day, I will go to my current loyal customers that I signed up, and I will make sure that I don't have anybody that I need to write to on that day. If I do have someone, I will make sure that I write back to them. So that's why we write the dates that we signed the people and what they ordered so that we remember exactly what we're talking to them about. And there is a board that's called customer retention where it's got your messages completely laid out for you. So you have the 3 days after they order, you have the 10 days after they order. These are all messages you're going to send to them on that day. So you don't have to worry about what to say to your current loyal customers. You're checking in with them. You're making sure they're taken care of. You're making sure they're taking their products consistently. You're making sure that they don't need anything extra. And if they do, you're getting them hooked up with it. You're making sure that at the end of their 3 months, they're knowing that they can order for a 4th month to get even bigger discounts. And on the 4th month after ordering, you're letting them know that they can continue with your discount and restart another 90-day challenge. So there's so many messages there, and that's how I like to do mine. Now, everybody does theirs different. So if you feel like this is not going to make you remember your customer retention, okay, it's very, very important to make sure that you figure out how you're going to start following up with your current loyal customers. Because I have some current loyal customers who have literally ordered from me for like the last 3 years, just because I've kept tabs on them. I've talked to them. I've created relationships with them. I've talked to them to the point where if I'm going for a promotion and I say, hey, I just need one person to order, they'll order something just because they want to help me, because they love the way that I run this business and they love the way that I check in on them all the time. So create those relationships with them if you have to. I know some leaders who they will put the follow-ups, they'll plug it into their calendar on their phone right after they sign someone. They'll plug in 3 days afterwards for an alarm to go off on that day. 10 days afterwards, they'll set an alarm for it to go 10 days afterwards. 14 days afterwards, they'll set that alarm. 30 days, 2 months, 3 months, and 4 months, so that they always know what they're sending or what days they're sending. And they'll get an alarm early in the morning that will say, hey, you need to interact with this person, and they can go and do their follow-ups right then and there, bright and early in the morning on their first power hour. So if you have to do that, absolutely do it. I highly recommend doing whatever works best for you. The tips that I'm giving you tonight are just things that have worked for me for the last 5 years. And this is also what helps for a lot of people. So this is kind of like a trial and error. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you and you need to tweak it a little bit, absolutely do it. I'm all for it. And then maybe in the future, you'll be sharing what works best for you on a Zoom call, just like this for your team, So that's really great. So number 4, make sure that you're using your follow-up board. Make sure that you're following up with your people and writing your people down. And then number 5, make sure you have your map. Okay. And what I mean by that is knowing where you're going. It's kind of like if someone were to get started with me and they were to say, well, Chelsea, I want to go on a trip. And I say, okay, well, where do you want to go? And they say, well, I don't know yet. Right. And I don't know how to get there either. And even if they were to say, well, I know where I want to go, but they don't have a map to even get there. They don't have GPS. They don't have a map. How are they supposed to get there? Just try and drive? Just try to figure it out? No street signs, nothing? It's not going to happen. So it's very, very important that you have your map out in front of you. And what I mean by that is your Ruby chart. If you have not gone Ruby yet, have your Ruby chart out in front of you, because your Ruby chart is going to create that residual income for you. Okay. If you don't know what a Ruby chart is, absolutely go look on my YouTube, go find the one that says Ruby. You can look up that, ask your upline if your upline hasn't explained it to you yet. And then also you can go to eSuite.itworks.com, log into your eSuite, go to document library at the top, type in the word Ruby, and you will find the Ruby chart right there. Get that printed out for yourself. And if you don't have a printer, then write it down, copy it down. All my charts are copied down. My printer crapped the bed a couple months ago or a few months ago, and I haven't been able to print anything. So I copy things down a lot, and including this. Okay. So I have my 4-in-1 charts also, because we've got the 4-in-1 promotions going on right now. They're going on for every single person that has started on our team within the last, several months or whatever. And they run every 3 months. So you've got your 4-in-1 chart. This is for your success bonus that's going on right now. You can copy this down, or you can print it right on your eSuite as well. So I believe it's right under eSuite. I don't know exactly what it's labeled on there, but I'm pretty sure it's like success bonus or something like that. If anybody's in eSuite or goes to eSuite and you find it, please share it in the chat. That way everybody has it. And I believe it's also in our team page too. So if you look at our team page, you'll find it there too. With the success bonus. And I think that Stacy Lynn has one in her group page also. So you could look at those as well. So you want to make sure you have your success bonus mapped out, and you want to make sure that you have your Ruby chart out if you have not gone Ruby. If you've already gone Ruby and you are maintaining Ruby, go get your Emerald out. That way you have it in front of you, because that's going to create your residual income, whereas your success bonus is just going to get you started on that. So you want to focus on the main goal, just like we always have. And then that's what I've got for organization. Okay. So we're going to go over creating a vision very, very briefly, because I'm just going to share with you guys 4 different ways that I create a vision for myself, because we know that vision is very important, right? If you want something, it's not so much that you will believe it when you see it, right? You have to actually believe it, and then you will see it, right? It's completely opposite. And a lot of people will tell you that they don't know what that even means, right? But if you've ever gone for anything in your life, or you've ever, run a business or anything like that, you know that you had to have a vision first. So one of the ways that I create a vision is through a vision board. We do these usually every single year. At the beginning of the year, we have vision board parties for our team and everything, where we all get on Zoom. Some of us get together in person, which is going to be really great. We have a few girls that are from Maine now, so we get together and do those things. If you have a local team, absolutely get your team together, because it makes sense to let the fire spread throughout your organization. So what a vision board is pretty much everything that you want in your life, that you've always wanted, that your normal 9-to-5 job could not get for you, or maybe it could get it for you, but you would write it down. Okay. So when I first started this business, I created a vision board for myself. I'm going to tell you guys, this addition on my house was one of the biggest things that I had on there. And it's really crazy. We're almost completely finished it. And it's because I set that goal for myself. I had a vision that I was going to have a 4-room addition, and we were going to create an office within my actual house. And I stuck to that plan. I had that vision for myself. I knew exactly what color the walls would be. I knew exactly what type of flooring I wanted. I knew exactly what I wanted, that I wanted closets in the kids' rooms and high ceilings and a storage space with a loft up top. I wanted, a big door with lots of windows in the addition. And I wanted my kids to have space and not a really small room, and neither one of them have a small room. So it's so awesome what vision can do for you. And having that vision board can give you a vision for where you want your life to go, but you can get very, very specific with it. So if I wanted to build a new house, or if I wanted to buy a camper, well, what is that camper going to look like? Maybe what brand is that camper? Maybe, or what make and model, whatever you want to call it. What's that camper going to have in it? Have you ever looked into how much those campers cost? Have you ever looked into the different paths that you could take for actually buying a camper? Have you ever looked into any of those things? Because if you haven't, it's it's just going to stay a dream forever. You have to actually turn it into a goal. So knowing those things is really important, especially if you want to go like debt free. You can't just say, well, I want to be debt free. But then when I ask, how much are you in debt? And you're like, well, I don't even know. You have to know exactly how much you're looking to pay off, because you have to have that vision in front of you for what it's going to look like when you get that paid off. Okay. So having a vision board allows it to be at the forefront of your brain, because you are consistently revisiting it every single time you walk by it in your house. Number two, the second way that I create a vision for myself is journaling. We do this every single morning on our Monday through Friday Zoom calls. We take 5 minutes and we do nothing but journal for that 5 minutes. And usually what we're writing down is all the things that we want in our life and all the things that we're doing with our life and this business and what it's going to pay for and all the things. What kind of team we want, what kind of people we want to surround ourselves with, how we want to feel, what we want to look like and wear, and all the things, right? You know, who we want to be at the end of the day. So the second thing is journaling. Take 5 to 10 minutes every single day and write down everything that you want in your life. And the more that you do that, the more you're going to be creating that vision for yourself that you need in order to get to that next level. So that's number two. Number three, I know Christina Perky does this all the time. She has different affirmations around her house, and these affirmations are great because they've got things that she wants in her life and who she wants to be at the end of the day. And so she writes things down, qualities that she wants, you know, for herself, writing these things down around your house. And even if it's not sticky notes all over your cupboards and stuff like she does, you could even do it, you know, on your bathroom mirror. You could have one list on one of your cupboards that you get into every single morning. On your coffee pot, you could have a chalkboard on the back of your coffee pot, or a whiteboard on your fridge like we do. And you could write these things down for yourself every single morning, write them down, or have them somewhere is just permanently written where you can remind yourself every single day. And when you see it, read it out loud, say it out loud. Don't say it in your head, say it out loud to yourself, because it's going to create that vision for yourself and it's going to create that confidence. So you can also create lists around the house. Like this is what I did. When I first started this business, I knew after the first 5 months that I wanted to come home. I knew that working 2 jobs just was not for me. And the medical field was rough, not only on my body, but it was awful on my mental health. It was awful on just the way that I was feeling every single day. And I wanted out. And so what I did was I took a piece of paper, I wrote down every single bill that Matt and I had. And I wrote down the total of how much every single bill was. And I told myself that I needed to get all of this every single month residually in order to come home full time. And I put that list right on a whiteboard that's literally right behind me. It's not there anymore because we moved it because we painted, but that list was on that for the longest time. And I knew every single day when I walked past it, these are the bills I'm fighting for so that I can get the F out of this job, so that I don't have to work it anymore, so I can be with my kids, right? This was what I really wanted. This was my passion, was, you know, not only being a mom, but learning more about children's development, just learning more about, you know, how to help children not be in the situation that I was when I was a kid. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to invest time in doing any of that if I didn't get out of where I was because my mental health was going down the drain and I didn't have time for literally anything but to work for other people. So that's number 3. Write yourself some lists, write yourself some affirmations. Even if other people think it's silly, that dream was not laid on their heart, it was laid on your heart. And so it was there for a reason. People are going to say, no, you're not good enough, or you can't do that all the time. You have to be willing to fight through that and push through it and say, no, I am. No, actually I am. No, actually I am. Right. Every single day, telling yourself that you are going to make those things happen. And even if it takes you 5 to 6 years, even if it takes you 10 years, even if it takes you 20 years, I don't care how long it takes you, are you going to make it happen? Right. That's what I had to say to myself every single day when I had those bills written down, and when I had the addition written down on our house, and when I had the new vehicle written down, which we ended up getting. And the, you know, just all the things that we've been able to do have been on our dream board first. And that's how we made it happen. And number 4, write your goals out. Write your goals out for yourself, and have them have them somewhere where you're going to make sure that you see them. That is, you know, either in a notebook every single day. You know, a lot of the times I will write my actual goals for the business out. So for example, let's just say I've got this page right here. Okay. And I need a 4-in-1 bonus. And I know that 4-in-1 bonus, this is what I do all the time. I know that this 4-in-1 bonus is under me. Okay. So I've got loyal customer, loyal customer, loyal customer, loyal customer, and distributor written out right in my calendar. I do this every single week. I write them down, and I have them. And every single time I get a loyal customer, guess what I do? Check that off. Next loyal customer, I check that off. Oh, I got a distributor. Check that off. Next one, check it off. Okay. And then I have like my DT. Let's just say this DT now. I know that I need 4 loyal customers and 1 distributor. Well, I taught that DT how to get a loyal customer, taught that DT how to get another loyal customer. Then what I like to do is I like to write how much it is for bonuses by not only getting this myself, but teaching that person how to get the 4 loyal customers and 1 distributor. So I will have these. So I know that when I complete both of these cycles, I will have a $500 paycheck. Sometimes I'll even write what that's going to pay for me, like light bill, and maybe gas. Okay. So I will write these things out for myself so I know exactly how much it is. And you could do this on your bonus also. And I teach a lot of new distributors how to do this. Have your 4-in-1 cycles written out, but next to them, put 150, 350. Okay. Then when you write that out, write what that 350 is going to do for you right underneath it. Write what that 150 is going to pay for underneath it. And then after that, you have to make a decision that your 4-in-1 cycles are what's going to pay for those things, not your 9-to-5 job. There is no plan B, not your husband. There is no plan B. That is your plan A and your plan B. And there is no other option. You are going to work your butt off to make your cycle 1 happen because you need to pay for X, Y, and Z, and nobody else is going to pay for that for you. Right? We have to stop looking for those plan Bs. We have to make sure that we look at our cycles and say, this is the only option. There is no other options at all whatsoever. And if you feel like there is another option on it, then it's probably not a good why in the first place, because no matter what, someone else will end up doing it for you. Right? So, or something else like your 9-to-5 job or something like that. So make sure that you write them out for yourself. Make sure you have your checklist for your 4-in-1s, not only on a random page in your notebook, but also have your checklist for your 4-in-1s on your calendar every single week so that you know what exactly you're going for every single day when you look at it, so that you know and you keep tabs on how that's going to work for you. So that's what I've got for you guys tonight. I hope that helped you between organization and creating a vision for yourself. And I hope that you're just as excited about this Newbies launch board as I am. I'm really excited about this, and I cannot freaking wait to get this going. So I hope you guys have a great night. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next week.